Well, as promised, here's the second installment of our summer series. If any of you have ever been interested in knowing how to create a sound effect, Mr. Blake Houchin, who works in our studio and teaches our music technology classes, which all of you will be taking some type of music technology class while you're at Trevecca, he's going to give you a quick lesson. Enjoy.
Welcome to this instructional video on sound design and how sound design works. I am Blake Houchin, and today I will be constructing the engine sounds of the Tantive 4 from Star Wars. The Tantive 4 is basically Princess Leia's ship. And we will be doing this by taking multiple sounds from different aircraft and combining them into one full system. Now, sound design in general is basically taking sounds that do not exist in nature, sounds that you cannot find in nature. Obviously, rockets do exist, but we're going to augment the rocket sound so we're not just using a standard blast off of, say, like a rocket. So in this case, we're going to take multiple sounds and combine those into one sound. The first thing I'm going to do is take an A-10 Thunderbolt II, pictured here. It's a standard aircraft of a military aircraft. So we're going to take that and we're going to create this as our bass sound. The bass sound giving us a nice little shrill background noise. I've also taken the time to import the audio by going through the menu Import Audio, and then we convert that over to and copy the files into the audio file sorter so you won't lose them. And then also I can store them over here in the clips files, then bring them in as I need to. I've also edited those by simply doing fade ins and fade outs to make it sound a little more seamless. So we move back to the A-10 sound. The A-10 Thunderbolt II is going to be a nice steady sound, something like this. So now that the A-10 is imported, I edited a little further by putting in some fade files, and pretty much did that to the rest of these anyway, just for the sake of time. So the next thing I'm going to do here is pull in an Iroquois UH-1 helicopter to give it a nice rumble and thud, just give it a little bit of a texture. So the Iroquois is pictured here, just standard what they nicknamed a Huey, and so that's going to sound like a small rumble. So that was the UH-1 giving you that nice low rumble and thud. So as the rockets pass the screen, you want to give it a retro effect. You want to make sure that the rockets actually sound like a rocket. So what I've done here is I've actually added in an F-14. An F-14 is basically what you saw in Top Gun, some other things like that. It's the F-14 Tomcat. It's going to give us our nice big afterburner effect, give us that nice just massive sound, something like this. Now that I have the retro rockets in place, I'm basically going to add in a low 30 Hz rumble to give you an overall massive sound of the ship, to give you an overall feeling of that bottom end rumble, something like this. Now the way I accomplished this was to take a tone generator and basically run it at 30 Hz, and then I recorded that for up to 3 seconds. Again, we don't need anything more than 3 seconds because it's basically just going to be a small flyby. So after I have all those effects in place, I will go through and layer these, and I'll mix them. So you want to get the nice blend of each different engine to give it kind of a feel of one solid engine. So I'll pull back the F-14 a little bit so you don't want those in your face. I'll pull the 30 Hz generator up so that it's nice and rumbly. I also added a low shelf to the UH-1 to give that choppiness a little bit to come out, just give it a little more of that depth that I was talking about earlier. And then I also added a little bit more of 5K in the A-10 so that it gives a little more shrill sound to bring that up a little bit and bring that out so you hear that nice little sizzle in the background of your retro engines. So now we'll go through and unmute these so we can hear all these placed together. Whoop, wrong one. I need to hide that real quick because that's not one of the tracks I was using. So we're going to hide that real quick. And basically, let's go back and unmute all these now. Also, I'm going to add a little pan effect. I'm going to go through and just, because the F-14 sound needs to go through and go from one side to the other, because it's panning across the screen, I'm going to go through and add in a pan effect simply by going under pan controls, and I've drawn in the slope going from left to right across this area here. So now that gives you a nice little flyby, or that beauty pass is now going to show up as a left to right movement. Alright, so now we'll go up here at the beginning. Let's go ahead and put that back into grid mode so we're not have to worry about the spot dialog the entire time. Try to start at the beginning. I also, just to verify, I did go back, so just because I wanted those retro rockets to fire at a certain point as it passed the screen, I put in what was called a sync marker, in which case I could sync that up exactly where I wanted it. The sync is done by doing command comma in Pro Tools, that is, and then I sync it up right at the exact frame that I want those to fire. Here's spot mode, just kind of give you an idea what that looks like. Now we'll go back, start from the top, and I'll blow this up to full screen so you can see what happens. And now this is what it sounds like all blended together. So that is some basic sound design for you. Thank you for watching, and everyone have a great day.